Hey, Amy from the blog Untitled.com, and today I want to show you how to make these really delicious sourdough raspberry rolls. They are super simple to whip up. I actually have a different recipe on my website where it is a blueberry roll, and these are even simpler than that. So let's get started. I actually started this yesterday. In a bowl, I put together 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of sourdough starter, a half a cup of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of honey, and then I added slowly a half a cup of water. And you want to add it slowly just because your moisture of your sourdough starter might be different than mine, and so sometimes it varies on how much water you'll actually need for the recipe. So I just mixed that up, and then I covered it with a towel and let it ferment overnight. So in our family we have some issues digesting gluten, and so we usually ferment things for at least 18 to 24 hours. So today I'm going to finish up these rolls. I'm going to dust my surface with some flour. And so one tip is, if your family is like ours and you just can't do any unfermented grains, then use gluten-free flour to roll out your dough. All right, I already preheated my oven to 375 degrees, and now I'm going to add the remaining ingredients, mix it up, and roll it out flat into a nice rectangle. These are kind of like cinnamon rolls, but instead of cinnamon filling, we're going to use a raspberry filling. I need butter. All right, so to my dough, I'm going to just uncover it from yesterday, and you can notice it's going to be really stiff, and that's good. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over pretty evenly and then fold it in. All right, once it's nicely folded in, I'm going to flour my work surface, which I just like to use a cutting board, and then we're going to roll it out nice and flat. All right, once you have it nicely rolled out, and it does not need to be perfect by any means, I'm going to brush it with some melted butter. All right, so you only need about a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon, just until it's just kind of a nice little bit of butter, because butter makes everything better. And then I'm going to spread on my raspberry jam. So you're going to need about 1/3 of a cup to about a half a cup of raspberry jam. And just spread it nice and evenly throughout. If you like yours extra jammy, you can use a little bit more. All right, next I'm just going to roll this up nice and tight, and then we're going to slice it. And the easiest way to slice it, I think, is if you cut it in half, and then you cut each piece in half again, and just keep doing that until you get about 8, 10 little slices. And then I'm going to put it in a parchment lined baking dish. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of my butter. And then I'm going to sprinkle over some brown sugar. Then I'm going to bake it at 375 degrees for about 20-25 minutes until it starts to turn golden brown. While I'm waiting for my raspberry sourdough rolls to cool, I'm gonna make a simple little icing for them. So I'm gonna put in 1 cup of powdered sugar, about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I will link below the recipe for that. And then about a tablespoon of milk. I usually like to do it kind of slowly, pour it in and whisk it. And so, because otherwise you make it too runny or not runny enough, so just kind of eyeball it. And just whisk it up, and it's all done. And then we're gonna let the raspberry rolls cool a little bit, and then we can just pour it on top. It's so good. Now you can pour it over the whole thing or each individual roll, whatever you wanna do. I'll have a link to the recipe in the description box below, and you can go over there and print it off if you want. They are so yummy. They're just the combination of the sweet and tangy with the raspberries and the sourdough and a little bit of brown sugar with a little like crunchiness. It's so good. So I really hope you enjoy this recipe today for sourdough raspberry rolls. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. I share recipes, DIY projects, and homesteading tips and tricks. Thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.